morning, friends. I am Dr. Paularubi, Assistant Professor in Department of Economics. Students, in today's class, we are going to discuss about money multiplier. So first, we will discuss the meaning of money multiplier, money supply multiplier effect, and formula to estimate this money multiplier. Multiplier effect within the two quantities. These are the sequences in which we are going to follow in this class. See, as far as monetary economics is concerned, a money multiplier is one of various closely related ratios of commercial bank money to central bank money under a fractional reverse banking system. It relates to the maximum amount of commercial bank money that can be created given a certain amount of central bank money. In a fractional reverse banking system that has legal reserve requirements, the total amount of loans that commercial banks are allowed to extend, it is equal to a multiple of the amount of reserve. This multiple is the reciprocal of the reserve ratio minus 1, and it is an economic multiplier. The actual ratio of money to central bank money, also called the money multiplier, is lower because some funds are held by the non-bank public as currency. Also, banks may hold excess reserves, being reserves above the reserve requirements set by central bank. Although the money multiplier concept is the traditional portrayal of fractional reserve banking, it has been criticized as being misleading. The Federal Reserve Bank of England, the Standard and Poor's Rating Agency have issued criticisms on the concept of this use. Let us concentrate on the definition of a money multiplier. The money multiplier is a phenomenon of creating money in the economy in the form of credit creation. The money is created in the market based on the fractional reserve banking system. It is also sometimes called money multiplier or credit multiplier. It is the maximum limit to which money supply can be affected by bringing changes in the number of money deposited by the people in the market. The effect of money multiplier can be seen in commercial banks of the economy. Commercial banks accept money or deposits. They keep some amounts as a reserve with them and lend other shares as loans to the people. The amount of money that is kept as reserves by these commercial banks for the withdrawal purposes of the depositors at any time is known as reserve ratio or recurring reserve ratio or cash reserve ratio. Then let us concentrate on the money supply effect. See, the money supply multiplier effect is concerned, it is mostly taken from a banking and money supply perspective by economists and bankers. This process is called the money supplier multiplier effect. In general, there are multiple levels of money supply across countries that can be commonly determined as the first level is considered as the M1. It refers to the physical currency in circulation within an economy. The next level is called M2. Actually, it adds the balances of short-term deposits accounts for a summation. When a customer makes a deposit into a short-term deposit account, the banking system can lend one minus the reserve requirement to someone else. The size of the multiplier depends on the percentage of deposits that banks are required to hold as reserve, while the original depositors maintain ownership of their initial deposit. The funds created through lending are generated based on those funds. If a second borrower subsequently deposits the funds received from the lending institution, this raises the value of money supply, even though no additional physical currency actually exists to support the new amount. So this is the formula to estimate this money multiplier. So with the help of this money multiplier formula, we can calculate this money multiplier. So initial round deposit 100, loans 90, so cash reserves 10. First round, second round, third round, like that. See 90 is the deposit means loans are 81, so cash reserves 9. In the second round, 81 is the deposit, 72.9 is the loan, 8.1 is the cash reserve. Like that, we can calculate this money multiplier mathematically. The formula is 1 divided by LRR or 1 divided by R. So here LRR is the legal reserve ratio. Actually, it is the minimum ratio of deposits that is legally required to be kept by the commercial banks of the economy with themselves and with the Central Bank of India, also known as Reserve Bank of India. And money multiplier effect related to MPC. The magnitude of the multiplier is directly related to the marginal propensity to consume, which is defined as the proportion of an increase in income that gets spent on consumption. For example, if consumers save 20% of new income and spend the rest, then their MPC would be 0.8. The multiplier would be 1. So every new dollar creates extra spending of 5. Essentially, spending from one consumer becomes income for a business that then spends on equipment, worker wages, energy, materials, purchased services, taxes, and investor returns. When a worker from that business spends their income, it perpetuates the cycle. In economic terms, this is the economic factor that causes changes in many other related economic variables is broadly referred as a multiplier. So this term is usually used in reference to the relationship between government spending and the total national income in terms of gross domestic product. The multiplier effect causes changes in total output to be greater than the change in spending that caused it. So in economics, a multiplier broadly refers to an economic factor that when change causes changes in many other related economic variables. The term is usually used in reference to the relationship between government spending and total national income. In terms of gross domestic product, the multiplier effect causes changes in total output to be greater than the change in spending that caused it. Okay, students, these are the important aspects in today's class. Thank you.